Hey everybody, welcome in. How's it going out there? Been a while for a Monday live. Let's give it a few minutes. Let's see if we can get some people to stream in or not. I'll make sure the stream's working good. Let me get in there and double check that. Do some basic housekeeping here. All right, shows we're up and live. All right, good deal. Everything's working there. All right, so welcome back to Monday Live, guys. It's been a while since we've been in here and done this. So we got a couple things to discuss probably, but we'll let some time here pass before see if we get anybody in, make a comment, say hi, show you what's been going on, just catch up, just stuff like that today. Go ahead and see what the latest alpha rumors are in the works out here. I haven't checked myself in a while. Definitely want to check that out. So see what we got. Let's see if we can share the screen here. Welcome in, people, as you filter in. Make sure you hit that like button for me. It helps me out a lot. Definitely appreciate those likes. Hey, Matthew, what's going on? Good to see you again. It's been a minute for me. Let's see here. They changed StreamYard, so I'm trying to figure it out again. Now I don't want no ads playing. Man, I'm advertising now. Jeez. All right, there we go. So we got they're showing. Hop over here. I'll be away from the chat for a second. We'll go through this first couple pages here. So price cut at $500 with A74, lowest price ever at $19.98 on B&H. $500 off. That's a deal, guys. Are we looking at the A75 coming out this year? I know there've been rumors about it, talk about it. I'd like to see that progression. Big Sony announcement soon with a never seen before lens. So Sony's been dropping some good lenses this last few months, and the 400, 800, I know it comes to mind just because it's one I'd like to have, but I don't know what this one's going to be. He's going to drop the rumor tomorrow or after tomorrow at 3 p.m. London time. We're currently on a short holiday. Okay, so we might see a rumor on what lens is going to be coming soon. What do you guys think it might be? Let's see. What would I like to see him do? They said it's a with a never seen before lens. Maybe they go out to the Sigmas like full range lens, like a 20. What is that one? A 35 to 150. Maybe they got like a 24 to 150 or something. I don't know. Silently introduced 2 new radio flashes. Yeah, flash is not a big deal, but Sony does make some decent flashes. Sony shares fall 10% today alone. That's probably thinking tariffs and stuff coming up in the future. Type A SD cards, $559 for 2,000 gigs. That's a decent price for that much storage. New Songro 50mm f1.2 autofocus FE lens. A decent looking copy there. I don't know how much that one would be. 13 blade aperture, 15 elements, and 10 groups. Close distance, half meter. $1,000. That's not bad. Still, it's an f1.2. It's different. So. Yeah, these rubber skins. I've seen these at the. There's an Amazon return warehouse here in town. I'm buying a lot of stuff there. A lot of good deals to be had there. I got some found a couple cages already for some cameras, stuff like that. It's um, but yeah, I've seen a few of these skins. Matthew says, "Hey, I'm surprised you're not at NAB. Seems like everyone is." Man, I don't have that kind of funds to go travel to those shows, man. I waited to CES. That was on the grace of Sony for inviting me and sending me out there. Um, I would like to go to NAB. I didn't even know it was happening until just like I think today I saw something about it. So uh, NAB would be a lot of fun. I was disappointed with CES and the fact that even though it's a consumer electronics show, it's really businesses showcasing their best and brightest futures and nothing about what they actually have to offer, at least nothing I'd be interested in. So NAB would definitely be more my alley of wanting to go check out, I think, and haven't ever done that, but that would be one I'd like to go to. I'd love to hear your. Uh, Hold on, like I said, they changed it here. There we go. Want to hear your thoughts on the tariffs in relation to gear. The DJI Osmo Pocket Creator Combo went from $669 to like $799 this past week, and the cameras itself went from $519 to $619. Well, whatever side of the fence you're on with politics, we won't discuss that on my channel. Um, but the tariffs, I think, are something we saw them back in I think 2018, and in my day to day job, I did see a difference in pricing, go up, but nothing like the increase from the last 4 years in like raw material costs, metal costs, stuff like that. So I mean, massive, massive increase in that material cost. Uh, I don't know if that a lot of that material is made locally in the U.S., but I'm not necessarily opposed to it. Obviously, we're going to see some price differences. Trade with Canada is going to affect different stuff. We'll see what it all does. I haven't seen these camera prices go up like that yet. Those are big increases. Those are 15-20%. I would imagine things will stabilize for us. Obviously, uh, you know, the idea behind it is to bring jobs back to the U.S. and bring factories. A lot of companies are building factories in the U.S. and to get around these tariffs and these price increases. A company like DJI is most likely not going to be big enough to come to the U.S., even though they might be their biggest seller. But the U.S. labor rates might drive them out just for the dollar amount to what they're selling the stuff for versus what's costing them to make over in China. A company like Sony, they probably still do all their production, and I think a lot of stuff's produced in Vietnam. This one say this one's Thailand. The A7R2 is made in Thailand. Um, this 85 G Master was made in. I can't quite see its stickers. I think it's Japan. But obviously, those imports we're going to see prices go up. It is what it is. I guess with it, we have an opportunity. I think for the um, we're gonna see a improvement overall in the long term. So right now, the short term is all these price hikes. Obviously, dealing with priceless today. They're delaying it because they're waiting to see what tariffs do. So those kind of stuff's all happening right now this month. It's all fresh. People are getting used to it. It's happened before. It does raise the price on products, but I think overall, in the long term, what it will do and how it will benefit the country will be a better thing. Um, Trying to do, we all got to do our part. Maybe there'll be some tax reductions for us. We'll see. I agree. Hopefully, this thing will eventually get better. I'm glad I purchased a Venture Resolve Studio last year. They increased their price. Did they really? What's it at now? I gotta go look because I didn't buy it, and I've been wanting to, but I'll buy it with a device. I'm not going to buy it by itself. Oh, they got 20 out. Is the DaVinci Resolve 20? is out now. Hold on, let me share my screen. That's share screen. Share. All right. Yeah. So DaVinci Resolve 20 is looks like it's out. 325. Huh? Well, I guess it's time to download 20. Yeah, this one says buy online now for 295. So maybe you got temporarily hiked up on you, man. But I mean, even 325 is not too bad considering what you get. Um, and I know you continue to get the updates. You don't have to pay that 325 every time a new version comes out. So that's one thing nice. Um, I'm gonna let's look at some. Let's see. Where's the products? Consoles, keyboard. I think the editing keyboard is what I want to get. Um, I think this is $600. Let's see. They have it on here still. My dad's got the little guy. He really likes this thing. It works really good for him. But let's see here. Where's it at? Get down to the bottom here. This is. I think I would go ahead and invest in this one. It went up in price. Here's where a price increase has happened. I think this was $400. We're seeing it at $525 now. The Resolve Replay Editor, that's new. I haven't seen this yet. And then the keyboard was, I think, $599. So definitely missed the boat on those as far as those good deals. But I think they all do come with the copy of Resolve in them. So yeah, that hurts a little bit to see that price went up, but it is what it is. Let's see. 20 has some nice features. Yeah, I gotta check it out. I didn't even know. I haven't edited a video in months, so I just barely started into 19. Honestly, I've been out of it too long. I did record last night. I've got a couple videos that I can work on. I'm gonna try to have one or two of them done here before the next week. So yeah, we'll be looking at that. Sorry, my phone's going crazy. It was definitely higher the other day. 20 Studio can mix your audio, do auto multicam switching for podcasts and animate captions. That's cool. Have they put in the text to edit features yet? Like how they were showing a year ago. Let's hop back into Alpha Rumors real quick. All right, so this page, Viltrock 50 F2. All the videos about it. There's your tariff question right here. Yeah, end user still pays for tariffs. So I haven't been following up with any of this stuff. A1 Mark II. Oh yeah, the new 16 millimeter. Those are the ones that came out. I'm really interested in, and the 400 800. Let's see what else. Now strip out in June, and Amazon canceled the A12 pre-orders. Oh dang. Let's see what else we got here. Pre-order prices are locked, not affected by new tariffs. There you go. Trump's tariffs will drastically increase the price of all photography equipment in the U.S. So here's your rates that increase right here. So they're saying out of Japan is a 24% tariff rate. A12 goes up from $64.99 to $8,058. A75 Thailand 36 2500 goes up to $3,400. The Nikon Z8 Thailand's 36% goes up to $5,400. So yeah, some big price hikes on camera equipment. I mean, it'll be interesting to see if any of these camera manufacturers, because I imagine the U.S. market is rather large. If they do bring the manufacturing to the U.S., that's the way they get around the tariffs. But would the cameras be as good? Yeah, Thailand hit by 36%. I mean, there was some stuff out of Vietnam, I thought. Let's see. I mean, it'll bring the prices up. I'm generally always buying used equipment. I've only bought the A7R2 new and the FX30 new. Um, Drop the price of the FX3 and the FX30. Let's see, not much else going on right now. Let's go back one more page here, see what we got. New Chinese company Songgro will announce this 5012. I just saw that. Sorry for the beeps if you're hearing it. I need to put this on Do Not Disturb. All right, well, I don't see anything else going on. All right, what do we got here, Matt Scott? Yes, you can do that studio only. That's a great price for the Sony A7 IV. Yeah, $2,000 is a really good price for that camera. I've wanted to upgrade lately. Like I've had this desire to change up and get a new body, and I really want the A7R5. Um, you know, I don't think I'll change it out right. I can't afford to change it out right now, but this thing, I'm ready to feel a bit into more photography lately, and this camera's great camera, but I'd like to get something a little bit more newer. This is it is almost 10 years old now. What site is that? The one I'm looking at is we're talking about Sony Alpha Rumors, or this is Sony Alpha Rumors here. Alpha Rumors, and then the other site I was on, as far as if you're looking about the equipment, was DaVinci Resolve's website. The one with the camera, the prices, that's on Sony Alpha Rumors, where he had the prices up there. Let me go back a page here. It was off of somebody's video thumbnail on this. Let me get back here and look at it. I think it's back on, page 3. Looks like it's Andre Pizzini's own YouTube channel, which is runs Sony Alpha Rumors. It's his site. It looks like that had the tariff pricing listed out. So, but anyway, to get into some of the changes that I have coming for this channel. I'm not going to promise I'll be consistent in videos. It's a very tough thing for me to do. In the last year, I haven't had the time to dedicate like I had been in the past to make videos. So the channel, obviously, I've seen the channel growth. I kind of stagnate. Been sitting around 16 in that 1,600 subscriber range for the last year. Usually, I could get 100 to 200 subscribers a year, no problem. I'm down to like 13 a month, I think is what it's down to. I've always hovered around 30. I do want to continue the channel. I do want to keep it going. I've got plans to keep it going. I've got video ideas in my head always. I've always got a desire to come up here and work in the studio to get videos made. a big part of it is the studio's just been in shambles. Like it's always something's always going on where it's just destructive, torn apart essentially. It's just destroyed. I did recently, I moved the TV behind me here. It was my main editing monitor on my desk over here in the corner, but I've since changed that up over there. It's not back together yet. It's getting there, and I want to eventually start editing, more content there. Have the TV over here for more of a Sony oriented experience. Um, as you can see, I've got some equipment stacked here. I've got some new stuff in there. Over here, I've got all the PlayStations 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The fifth, the PS5 here is powered through the wall down an HDMI cable to the TV downstairs actually, and that way, they turn it on downstairs. You'll hear it beep or kick on because then the kids start playing it. It's not the only PS5 in the house. There's actually four of us, and we have four PS5s now. So this is my only digital one. The rest are all disk drive models. But it's it's a it's been fun. That's the one thing me and the family do a lot. We all play, the games and doing Fortnite or whatever, and in the evening. So that takes up time, of course. But it's been fun. But in that time that I've been away, I've been working in the studio quite a bit. I've got that little setup done. This is all not hooked up yet, just in there for show. Eventually, I'm going to yank it all out, and we're going to do a video series of each piece that's in here. Go through the history of it, what it is, why it's the one I have, maybe, or what the story is behind it. If there is one, that's what all this will be in this back wall here. So I don't want to hook it up yet because it's going to come back out. It's going to get a nice footage shot of it for a nice talking head video type display of it, talking about that exact piece of equipment. So there's something out there on the internet about it, and that's something I want to do is expand that Sony knowledge base that I have and bring it up more into this channel. If you don't know already, I am part of the Sony Advocate program, so I've got direct contact with Sony people. They actually found me through my ownership of product, not through YouTube, but they're very aware that I have a YouTube channel, and I, got to go to Vegas, meet a lot of these people, got to meet other advocates in the program. We're all on the Sony community forum. You can find me there. If you have questions on camera gear, I try to answer stuff there. I also get ideas for videos there. So back in my mind, I'm writing down ideas of the questions people are bringing to that community forum to help out. And I do want to help expand that forum and do my part on it. The advocate program is basically just that. It's they don't pay me. It's just it's a perk, I guess you could say, for just being a Sony customer over the years. And I was noticed, and I've got a hookup now, I guess. Don't get equipment or nothing like that. They have been, I'll say, generous with some stuff every now and then, but nothing too crazy. And I see where it goes. It's a new program for them, and I've got like I said, it's got a lot of good contacts. In Vegas, I got to go have dinner with one of the executives out of Japan. Very nice gentleman. Got to go, talk his ear off, tell him about the products, what I like, what I dislike about what they got going on with a few of the other advocates. And it was just a good time. It really was. Got to meet, network with some people. Like I said, some of the Sony guys, if you follow Sony's, Connect channel, get to meet some of the people on there, just hang out. So it was a good time. That being said, if you ever have any questions, and it's my avenue is to bring those questions from my viewership, or if you have comments or concerns, I could easily pass that along to the right people, and it goes directly to the people that need to hear it. So, use that for what it's worth with this channel. But I want to take that direction with this channel to a more Sony oriented. I've got a lot of things planned in the future. for the next few months, if I can stay with it, to film a lot of different content over a variety of different Sony products over the years. And that's what I want to focus on. It's something I can do easily without having to, you know, do major photo or video work. And the photography trips are kind of at a null right now for me. Now it is. I'm hoping for some good storm season this year. We haven't had any yet, but um, I do want to get out and do some good lightning photography. So did that again. Uh, I got a couple trips planned. Well, one trip planned right now where I'm going to get out and do some photography for the channel and see what can be stirring up for that. So the photography end and the Sony camera end is not going anywhere. Of course, if it's Sony cameras, they're in all the way. But I also got other cameras that I'm interested in that I'm going to talk to you about. It's going to be open ended in that regard. But this channel will see a Sony centric future, and I have that link up with them, and I've got a relationship built with them, and I want to share that where I can, and help others with questions and needs or whatever, and bring those concerns to them, and get the help people may need when they need it. And I said, is Sony doing a lot in regards to sound systems, etc. these days? So yes, they have a quite the offering of speakers and portable stuff. I personally I don't follow that stuff. I don't do too much with it. I don't have a need for portable speakers. I find myself I have one. I never use it. Um, so headphones. These are the WH 1000 XM4s. I bought these recently just for the Vegas trip to have some new headphones on the trip. Videos coming soon on these, and the but as far as home theater, they are doing quite a bit. So, if you're aware, they've got the new Bravia line TVs. On April 2nd, they just announced another second series of Bravia 8 OLED or Bravia 8 Mark II, Bravia 5, Bravia 2. So they're expanding their Bravia line of new televisions that came out last year with the mini LEDs and the OLEDs. I'm don't want to say I'm due for a new TV, but it's getting awfully tempting to replace the 75 downstairs with maybe a new Bravia 9 or something like that. But we'll see. But they do still they have the receiver lineup still for home theaters. They have the DN one, or sorry, not the DN, the STR AN 1000. That's the receiver I currently own. If you go back and watch my home theater video, uh, um, that's the receiver I showcase in that. It's a 7-channel receiver. Does 360 audio, and it was a nice improvement over the 1080. But the one thing I like the 1080 really had over this one that I wish this one had was 9-channel output. So I was able to have a dedicated 2 channels going outside to my stereo speakers outside, and still have the 7-1 control inside. Now I'm looking at adding a second receiver to that closet to get my audio back outside. It's not a priority as I don't really go out there to listen to music, but it was nice. They have their ES lineup still of higher end receivers for the home theater stuff. And then they have what they're really focusing on though is their new technology with speakers. And the Bravia Theater Quad is one of the new ones. So I want to say it's 16 speakers. It's 4 speakers or something in each little tower. And you place the 4 towers around the room. It does a calibration, gives you 360 sound mapping in the room. They've got a bunch of different wireless subwoofers and surround speaker options. So if you're running a sound bar, you can have the sound bar up in the front and then have your wireless speakers running off that sound bar system, I believe. Don't quote me on that one because, like I said, I haven't dove deep into that side of it. But I know the receivers, the AN1000, the ES receivers, they can broadcast out those other channels. Now, as far as stereo equipment and like mini disc player stuff like that, the technology is kind of dead. Where we're seeing it come back right now is in record players. Obviously, there's a bigger record selection at Target now than there are CDs. Excuse me, get on a roll here. The The amps, obviously, the ES receivers are still pretty nice for stereo like that. I'm still looking at old school amps and receivers. You can pick up some of these receivers, these several $1,000 receivers new. Pick them up for a couple $100 on eBay. You have to pay shipping, which is maybe a couple $100 also, but uh, they're they're a good way to power some good speakers and still have good sound. Um, this Sony XPR behind me, it has the high res audio speakers and it's built into the side. They always sounded good, but it always needs some woofer behind it. And they made a wireless subwoofer. I'd like to find one someday for it, but it was like a Japan thing, and good luck finding it here in the States. They're out there on eBay. They still get good money though. But yeah, they're still doing it. Their focus is more in portable electronics, portable sound systems like the little speaker packs and the headphones. They definitely are always working with sound and that development. The days of big stereos, I think, just aren't as popular with younger generations these days to have big speakers and a big stereo set of speakers like I've got in the corners here of my big Saren Vegas. Um, I don't see that really. I think there's always a special niche for that, and there's places you can go to get that stuff. But for the most part, general consumers, they're not buying that stuff. How is Cooley doing him these days? You ever hear from him? He was in a live stream with Robert Silver last night. I believe it was last night I saw him pop in. So he's out there still. I haven't talked to him. Haven't seen him come on or pop in. I'm sure he would said hi if he did. But he is out there still. I know I do my lives all on the run. I don't ever really broadcast that they're happening. So that's the way it is for me. I just I like making a decision. I'm going to go live tonight. I actually thought I'd do it last night. I should have made the broadcast that it was happening. I just didn't because I didn't. But yeah, he's still around here. I just haven't seen him yet, so maybe he'll pop in, say hi. Um, let's see what else is new. So I've got my own PlayStation wall built back here. I'm working on getting, like I said, the PS5 is hooked up to the downstairs TV. I want to get a switcher to hook it up to either it can run on this one or the downstairs. And then the PS4, I really have no reason to play it because the PS5 is backwards compatible on it. So it's just kind of there on display. I do have a PS3 up there. It's the first gen PS3 with the memory card readers and the 80 gig hard drive. And that one was, I want to say that one's my dad's. And then I have a third one in the attic that's fried. And then mine is downstairs still in good shape, but it has all my music on it. So probably bring that one up, change the cover out because mine's got like a melted cover that just showed up that day when one day I looked up, what's happened to my cover? The PS2 I got is I haven't tested it. It may not work. It was my wife's. We've had it in storage for the last 15 years, and I don't know if it works or not. I got to just mess with it. She's got an N64, translucent green N64 that says doesn't work. I want to see if that works too. And then I've got my PS1 up top. I've also got a well, that's a PlayStation. The PS1 I've got down here with the little flip LCD. I've got it down here still wrapped up, along with the big dual joystick controller. That's very rare. It's in the box. So yeah, I've got some PlayStation stuff happening. I've got a white PS4 I want to put on display. I've got all sorts of PlayStations running around. Can you remind me the paint used on the background wall? I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I will tell you here it is. Go in here and find it. It's on a video I have. Thunder Gray. That's what the dark gray is on the back. I have a video about it on my channel. showcasing the painting of it, Thunder Gray. Now, Thunder Gray, it pulls in color. Now, I've got two lights back behind it right now. I got the two in the ceiling you can see. I've also got the TV lights glowing back there. So if I say, computer, turn the studio green,
Okay.
Everything goes green. And that Thunder Gray, it just shows that color really well. So does the light gray that's also on the front of these walls. So I got the dark Thunder Gray in the cove, and the light gray on the outsides there. So computer, turn the studio red.
Okay.
A little darker there. I got the exposures kind of low on the camera for the ambient, keep me kind of bright. I wanted to do this in anamorphic tonight. I can't get the output of anamorphic to work without being in log, which the camera won't do when you're tethered. So I think the D squeeze would have put out the right signal on the FX30 from 133 D squeeze, but it won't do it unless you're in log. I don't know why. I'm going to say something about that to Sony because I'd like to see that option to turn it on without it being in log. I don't know why the difference is there. Computer, turn on Living Giant.
Okay.
Go back to the blue there for a second. So I've got that to figure out on that because I shot the videos in anamorphic. So that's, if you watch the next couple of videos coming out, you'll see it's a shot in anamorphic. Had to manual focus that stuff. That's always kind of a hard one, but I did it. Let's see. Yeah, equipment wise, I've got a Betamax down here now. I've got a couple new cameras I found this weekend at an antique store. I found an old Digital 8 camcorder, one of the higher end ones from 2001. I found a Canon AE1 program, really clean, silver bodied, with 3 lenses I don't have for FD mount, so I was excited to find that. I did try to shoot some film tonight on my Minolta 7000 just to finish the rollout, but the displays came on. It seemed like it would do settings, but it wouldn't shutter or take a picture. So I'm guessing the battery's just dead a little bit. So I got to get some batteries for that tested out, make sure it's still working because it'll be a bummer if that camera stopped working. And then I want to shoot film on this trip I got coming up in a couple weeks. So I'm debating on what camera to use. I've got the Minolta 7000 with all the glass for it, and I don't really want to take that one. And I've got a Canon AE1. I got the Canon AE1 program now, which neither of those cameras I know how to use. I got to learn how to use them. And the last camera I do want to take and use is that old Zeiss camera, which I think is on the thumbnail of this live. I've got that Zeiss camera I'm holding, and that thing I've wanted to play with that and take it out and use it. So I want to load that thing up with some film and definitely try to use it. Whether the film's good or bad, we'll find out. But I want to check that out. Let's see what else we got going on here. Sony discontinued the RX 10 Mark IV finally. It's something, we talked about at Vegas was the RX series cameras in their future. What would you like to see done? I think they need a new sensor for that. If they're going to continue it, they need to really throw some new tech at the new sensor on that RX series cameras. Really bring them into the modern era. I think the camera market's died off enough where it's either somebody's buying for full on, mirrorless cameras and not the hybrids anymore. I think there's still a market there for it, but it definitely isn't as prevalent as it used to be. Cell phones have totally replaced that market. But I've had the opportunity to use the RX10 Mark IV. It's got an awesome telephoto zoom lens on it, and it's about all that camera to me is really good for. I'd like to see a modern rendition of it, obviously, to see if I can get um, the newer features into it. Obviously new video codecs. Maybe 10-bit support and stuff like that. I think that would be necessary to see that happen in something like that. Um, but at the same time, it's somebody could easily just go buy a mirrorless camera that has lenses. Now, there's a huge cost associated with that. Where that lens had a 24 to what was that, a 400 millimeter? I don't know. I can't remember. That was 600 millimeter lens, I think. And have it needs to be a constant aperture. Put a big piece of glass on the front of it that's fixed, and I think they'd have something that would work and sell decently still, but it would be selling to the people that don't necessarily want to hassle with the full-on mirrorless experience and the lenses and all that, but have everyday carry camera. Um, and I think people looking for that kind of camera are looking for DSLR or mirrorless style cameras. They're not looking for that hybrid anymore. They just assume you either use your cell phone or you're going to buy a camera and lens combo like this, and that's going to be, I think, what people will want to gravitate toward, and that's why we're seeing those RX series cameras, the point and shoot, start dying off. Canon did just make the new, was it Canon? I believe it was the Canons that just did um, the new, like, I guess the answer to the ZVE10 Mark II, that kind of stuff on their cheaper lineup cameras. But yeah, I think we're gonna see that whole segment disappear, and it's a shame because I think they're really good, awesome cameras there. Um, I'd like to see a really good beginner camera come out that is something that'd be durable that my kids could use that would teach them the basics of photography. That would be something else I'd like to see happen. Um, just something, a simple camera, good quality, good optics, but have something to train off of. And I know you can do that on a lot of the other cameras, but they're they're loaded up with features, and I think they should offer something more basic. Yeah, maybe it's a film camera, maybe not, but I think it'd be something good for them to learn on. Well, if you're out there, say hi. Hit me up the chat. Um, let's see here. Let's see if there's any other news here. Oh, we can talk about this one. This one hit the. Let me share the screen again here. Sony announced a new $25,000 Venice 2 E-mount extension system mini. So this is a tethered camera system for the Venice cameras. I guess it would plug into the Venice module as a remote sensor, which is cool because this would have been like awesome to have probably for them when they're filming like Top Gun. I'd see, I'm guessing they can't tether multiples of these to one Venice. That would be a cool option if they gave it that ability. But I just saw a production shoot where they had 100 FX3s with 24 to 70 GM Mark IIs on them in a full half moon to do some shot. They didn't show what the shot was, but they were showing the production behind it. And it's like, that's $340,000 in cameras and another $280,000 in lenses, just for that one shot. And I'm sure they're rented or borrowed, but dang, that's a lot of equipment and hardware there. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, 8.6K full frame sensor on this thing. Let's see here. Got a camera deal. Yeah, that was the announcement for that mini. Sony believes it's maintained its competitive advantages in 3 ways. The CP Plus showed Petapixel had a quick chat with Masaki Oshima, head of Sony Imaging and Entertainment Business Unit. Sony has maintained its competitive advantage in 3 ways. The first is that we have our own image sensor company in our group. That's a huge one. They make their own sensors. The second is that we are focusing not only on the camera and the lens, but also total workflow solutions, Creative Cloud, lots of accessories, and so forth. Third is our AI-based technologies. Small Rig's making a Type A Raider. What are your thoughts on these cameras like this? Fujifilm EFX 100 RF. I know I've heard a lot about this camera versus Sony RX1 R2, which is a full frame fixed 35 millimeter lens sensor camera. So it's got the full frame sensor inside there. Nice little package. I really like that little camera, but it's limited in a sense, and it's old now. They need to update it. These things are still going for $2,400. Nothing much else there. The Sony FX3 competitor. Nikon getting red. That's going to be interesting to see if they have anything popping up in that regard. No, that's as far back as I'm going to go right there. Well, I covered everything I'm going to cover, I think, tonight, guys. I am going to probably shut this thing down. I don't see much activity going on, so I'm out of talking points. Half this is, me coming up with some ideas to talk about and chatting with you, and then coming up with whatever comes up in the comments. So definitely hit me up in the comments if you have any questions. But I'm out of the stuff I was going to talk about tonight. Take care, Matthew. Appreciate you coming in tonight, man. Good seeing you again. See you out there. I saw a couple of your videos coming up, man. Looking good. And just see where it goes, man. That's what it's about. So I like doing these lives. I like to connect with people and seeing what we got in the chats. It's just a good way to communicate, I think. But I am going to be, pushing some videos out here soon, hopefully to get some more content made on a more regular basis. I gotta work on my editing schedule and get that figured out and stay focused on it. I got some videos shot now, so I got something to work with and see where it goes. So with that, guys, I think I'm going to call it a night. I'm getting older and it's getting tougher to stay up late. Need some engagement that we need. So, all right, guys, it's good seeing you all out there. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.